Welcome to Do the Math America. I am Charlene, Math Shaman.
Solving multi-step equations is found on pages 115 and 116 in the Beginning Algebra book. Please use the link in the description box below this video for the PDF file, which you may use to print a hard copy. Example number 1. Solve 2x plus 6 equals 4x. We begin by gathering like terms. So the variable 4x needs to be moved over to the left-hand side of the equation. And we do so by subtracting 4x from both sides of the equation. So I rewrite the equation, giving plenty of space to show my work. I start by subtracting 4x from the right-hand side. 4x minus 4x equals 0. And to balance the equation, I must subtract 4x from the left-hand side as well. 2 minus 4 equals negative 2. Therefore, 2x minus 4x equals negative 2x. We bring down the rest of the equation, plus 6. The number 6 needs to be brought over to the right-hand side of the equation, and we do that by subtracting 6 from the left-hand side. Whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must also do to the other side to maintain balance. 6 minus 6 equals 0. So now on the left-hand side, we have minus 2x equals, and on the right-hand side, 0 minus 6 equals negative 6. Now we isolate x by dividing negative 2x by negative 2. And whatever we do on one side of the equation, we must balance by doing on the other side. So on the right-hand side, we have negative 6 divided by negative 2, which equals 3. The left-hand side, negative 2 divided by negative 2 equals 1. 1 times x is x. The solution is x equals 3. Now we need to check our answer. We plug in 3 for x into the original equation. 2x plus 6 equals 4x. We rewrite the equation using parentheses for x to show that the numbers will be multiplying with the solution 3 for the variable. So we have 2 times 3 plus 6 equals 4 times 3, and we write a question mark to see if those two are equal. 6 plus 6 does equal 12, therefore the solution x equals 3 is correct. Example number 2. Solve 2x minus 5 equals 7 minus 6x. We begin by gathering like terms, bringing the variables to the left-hand side of the equation and all the numbers to the right-hand side. Start by bringing the term negative 6x from the right-hand side over to the left-hand side by adding 6x to both sides of the equation. So I rewrite the original equation, giving plenty of space to show my work. When I add 6x to the right-hand side of the equation, the 6x and negative 6x cancel to 0. And whatever I do to one side of the equation, I must balance by doing to the other side. The left-hand side, 2x plus 6x equals 8x. I write that down on the next line, bringing down the rest of the equation. Minus 5 equals 7 minus 0. So now I have 8x minus 5 equals 7. Next, I gather all the numbers to the right-hand side of the equation. So negative 5 will be moved to the right-hand side of the equation by adding 5 to the left-hand side of the equation. And whatever we do to one side of the equation, we must also do to the other to keep the equation balanced. The left-hand side, negative 5 plus 5 equals 0, which leaves me 8x by itself. On the right-hand side, I now have 7 plus 5, which equals 12. I rewrite that on the next line. Now I have 8x equals 12, and I isolate x by dividing 8x by 8. And whatever I do on one side of the equation, I balance by doing the same on the other side. On the left, 8x divided by 8 equals 1 times x, or just plain x, and on the right-hand side, I have 12 over 8. I simplify that fraction. I see that both 12 and 8 are divisible by 4, which gives us the equivalent fraction 3 halves. 3 halves is 3 divided by 2, which simplifies to 1 and 1 half. So the solution is x equals 3 halves, which equals 1 and 1 half. Now we check our answer by substituting 3 halves for x in the original equation. 2x minus 5 equals 7 minus 6x. So I rewrite that equation using parenthesis for x to show that the numbers in front of x will be multiplying with the solution 3 halves. So I rewrite the equation on the next line using parenthesis for x, and then I plug into the parenthesis the number 3 halves, which gives me 2 times 3 halves minus 5 equals 7 minus 6 times 3 halves. Are these equations equal? On the left-hand side, we start with multiplication before we do the subtraction according to order of operations. 2 times 3 halves simplifies to 3. 3 minus 5 is on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, again, we start with the multiplication. 6 times 3 halves, which simplifies to 9. And now we have 7 minus 9. Both sides equals negative 2. The solution x equals 3 halves is correct. Example 3. Solve 3, open parentheses, a minus 5 plus 2a, close parenthesis, equals 6. According to order of operations, we first simplify terms within the parenthesis. In this case, a plus 2a simplifies to 3a, which we rewrite on the next line, keeping our parenthesis. So we have 3 times 3a minus 5, close parenthesis, equals 6. Next, we use the distributive property to remove the parenthesis, which in this case means we use the number 3 to multiply both terms within the parentheses. The first multiplication is 3 times 3a, which equals 9a. And then we have 3 times negative 5, which equals negative 15. We write 9a minus 15, and we remove the parenthesis. Equals 6. We bring down the rest of the equation. Now we gather like terms by bringing the number negative 15 over to the right-hand side of the equation by adding 15 to the left-hand side, and whatever we do to the left-hand side, we must also do to the right-hand side. So now we have 6 plus 15 on the right-hand side. On the left-hand side, minus 15 plus 15 equals 0, leaving 9a by itself. And on the right-hand side, 6 plus 15 equals 21. Now we isolate a by dividing 9a by 9, and whatever we do on the left-hand side, we must also do on the right-hand side to keep the equations balanced. So we now have 21 over 9. Both 21 and 9 are multiples of 3. We divide both numerator and denominator by 3, which gives us 7 thirds. 7 thirds simplifies as 7 divided by 3, which equals 2 and 1 third. So a equals 7 thirds, which equals 2 and 1 third. Now we check our answer. Does the solution a equals 7 thirds satisfy the equation 3 open parenthesis a minus 5 plus 2a close parenthesis equal 6? So I check this by rewriting the equation, substituting parenthesis for a, which gives me 3 open parenthesis, mini parenthesis, minus 5 plus 2 times mini parenthesis, close parenthesis equal 6. Now I can substitute 7 thirds for a. within the parentheses. Now I will rewrite this equation all in one color. I find that the multicolors becomes too distracting. So now I have 7, open parenthesis, 7/3 minus 5 plus 2 times 7/3, close parenthesis, equal 6. And according to order of operations, I must solve the equation within the parenthesis, and there is a multiplication which must be solved first. 2 times 7/3 simplifies to 14/3. Now I can gather the fraction within the parenthesis by adding 7/3 plus 14/3 before I continue the problem. So 7/3 plus 14/3 equals 21/3. 21/3 equals 21 divided by 3, which equals 7. So I can rewrite that into the original equation, which gives me 3 times 7 minus 5, close parentheses. Does that equal 6? 7 minus 5 equals 2. 2 times 3 does equal 6. So the solution A equals 7/3 is correct. Example number 4. Solve 3, open parenthesis, 2y plus 3, close parenthesis, equals 4y minus 7. Since the terms within the parenthesis cannot be simplified any further, we do the next step, which is use the distributive property to remove the parenthesis. In this case, we multiply the number 3 in front of the parenthesis by each term within the parenthesis, and then we remove the parenthesis. So 3 times 2y equals 6y plus 3 times 3, which is 9, which leaves us 6y plus 9, we remove the parenthesis, equals 4y minus 7. We bring down the rest of the equation. Next, we gather like terms. So we bring 4y on the right-hand side over to the left-hand side of the equation by subtracting 4y from both sides of the equation. On the next line, I rewrite the equation, giving plenty of room so that I could show my work. So I have 6y, spread out a bit, and then bring down the plus sign, and 9 equals 4y, spread out a bit, bring down the minus sign, and the 7. Now I have plenty of space to write down minus 4 on both sides of the equation. And now we simplify. On the left-hand side, 6y minus 4y simplifies to 2y. And then I bring down the addition sign, and 9 equals. On the right-hand side, 4y minus 4y equals 0, leaving minus 7 on the right-hand side. Now I bring the number 9 over to the right-hand side by subtracting both sides of the equation with 9. So I rewrite the equation, 2y plus 9, giving myself room to write minus 9 on both sides of the equation. On the left-hand side, 9 minus 9 equals 0, which leaves 2y by itself. On the right-hand side, we have minus 7 minus 9, which equals negative 16. So on the next line, we write 2y equals negative 16. Now we solve for y by dividing both sides of the equation with 2, which leaves us with y equals negative 8. And now we check our answer. Does y equal negative 8 satisfy our original equation, which was 3, open parentheses, 2y plus 3, close parenthesis, equal 4y minus 7. I rewrite that equation on the next line using open parentheses in place of y, so that I can plug in my solution, negative 8, as a substitute for y. So then the equation is rewritten as 3 open parentheses 2 times negative 8 plus 3 close parenthesis equals 4 times negative 8 minus 7. I simplify 2 times negative 8 equals negative 16 plus 3 within the parenthesis, multiplying by 3, equals 4 times negative 8 simplifies to negative 32 minus 7 to complete the rest of the equation. Now I solve within the parenthesis. Minus 16 plus 3 equals negative 13 times 3 on the left-hand side. Does that equal minus 32 minus 7, which simplifies to negative 39? Both sides of the equation equals negative 39. The solution y equals negative 8 is correct. And now for the fun part, the practice problems for this lesson can be found on page 116. Please do as many problems as you need to get a firm grasp of the material. And please check your answers with those on page 301 of the book to make sure you did the problems correctly.
I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you for joining me at Do the Math America.